Good evening, all. I'm calling the Special Committee on State Legislative Affairs regular meeting to order. It's Wednesday, January 27th at 5:04. May I ask the clerk to read the roll?
Vice Chairwoman Ryan.
Present.
Council President Matos.
Present.
Councilor Salvatore. Councilor Salvatore is absent. Councilwoman Harris.
Present.
Councilman Taylor.
Here.
Councilman Espinal.
Present.
Councilman Goncalves.
Present.
You have 6 present and 1 absent.
Thank you very much. Okay, first order of business, item 1, organizational meeting.
Election of a chairperson. And election of a vice chairperson.
Okay, may I have a motion to elect a chairperson of this committee?
I make a motion. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Councilman?
Councilwoman Harris, go ahead.
You're muted.
You're muted.
I'd like to nominate Councilwoman Ryan.
Second that.
Thank you. Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations? Hearing none, I ask the clerk to cast one ballot for Joanne Ryan as the chair. Thank you very much for your confidence. The next order is election of a vice chair. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion to elect.
I'm gonna put on.
Councilwoman Harris, do you want to make a motion?
No, I'm going to withdraw my motion because I just did one earlier.
Okay, that's fine. Anybody like to make a motion here?
I do. I didn't hear you. You made the motion, Councilwoman Harris.
That's okay.
So I would like to make a motion to nominate Councilman Taylor to be the vice chair.
Second.
Beautiful. We have a motion to elect Councilman Taylor as vice chair, and we have from Council President Matos and a second from Council Majority Leader Harris. Are there any further nominations? Any further nominations? Any further nominations? Hearing none, I ask the clerk to cast one ballot for Vice Chair Councilman James Taylor, Chief Taylor.
Thank you.
Thank you all. If I can just take a second to welcome you all to this season for a Special Leg Affairs Committee. We've got a lot ahead of us. There's a lot on this agenda, but unfortunately, much of it is old. So I'd like to start by just giving a brief, as chair, a brief explanation. I had a conversation with Peter Baptista. Many of you know we have engaged him as our lobbyist. We did so last year. He is our lobbyist this year up at the State House. A lot going on up at the State House, and he is going to help us make sure that our agenda is heard up on the Hill. And I hope that this committee can be instrumental in crafting our agenda together as a group. I think what would be appropriate is to have him come before us so that you guys get to know him. And it's my intention that we will work together on crafting our agenda and also working through the nuances of legislation that's presented up on the Hill that we wish to support. Okay, with that, I'd like to waive the reading of items 2 through 10 and ask for a motion to continue these matters indefinitely. Upon the advice of Mr. Baptista, he has advised us that these things would have to be reintroduced anyway. So there's no reason for us to take action on anything before us tonight, other than to continue indefinitely, clear out the slate, and make room for us to craft a new pathway. All right? Can I have that motion? Motion to continue items 2 through 10 indefinitely.
Councilwoman Goncalves, I think, has a question. Should we answer his question? Or,
Sure,
I'm sorry,
I didn't
Councilwoman
see.
Anthony. So I can't see the hands right in the middle. So someone has a question. I think we
Okay,
should answer the
Councilwoman
question
Anthony?
before.
Thank you so much, Councilman Taylor. I appreciate it. I just have a question for the chairperson, the majority leader. I was wondering why it is that we haven't been meeting to take action on these when they were introduced.
I can't answer that. I wasn't the chair. I was the vice chair. I can't answer your question other than we've had a pandemic, and I think that we've been meeting with matters as they come up. But what is before us now is I'm asking for a motion, if anybody would like to make that motion so that we can move on.
I would like to make the motion that we have this reintroduce, as you stated.
Motion to continue indefinitely.
Motion to continue.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Aye.
Thank
Second.
you. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion passes. Any further discussion?
Councilwoman,
Yep, President Matos, yes.
Madam Chair, I think, can we have a discussion about what's gonna happen moving forward? I just wanted to address
Sure.
Councilwoman Anthony's concern. I know that there were a lot of items in committee, but we were not having meetings for a person that was the chairperson of the committee is no longer in the city council, and then we had the pandemic. So there's a lot of reasons why we didn't have meetings. Our goal is to have frequent meetings of this committee to address the issues.
Thank you, Council President. And just to continue on with that, in the beginning of the meeting, I expressed that much of this is old legislation, and quite honestly, we can't take any action on these now anyway. However, some of them will be reintroduced, and at that time, we can bring them here and have a discussion and move them forward. So, that's certainly my intention, and I look forward to that. Councilwoman LaFortune, I see your hand raised.
Thank you, Chair. I just have a question. So just moving forward in terms of the technical stuff, the technical aspect of it. So you mentioned that because the chair is no longer on council, but couldn't the vice chair, since the person was no longer in council, convene the meetings so that some of these items could have gotten passed?
Council President?
Yes. So that was my, thank you, Madam Chair. So that was the second part of my answer, is that due to COVID, the legislation was not taking action either. So there was not a need to have these meetings. It's not that we didn't want to have the meeting. It's just there was not a need because the legislative, the State House, they were not meeting either.
Can I just follow up?
Sure.
Thank you. But a lot of those, the items were resolutions. So whether the legislative was meeting or not, but there could have been, they could have come before the committee and then we would have sent them back to the whole council to vote on them. And then once the legislative body convened, then they would decide if those were appropriate things that they would focus on. But they are resolutions that we can vote on whether our state legislators are meeting or not. Am I, unless I'm wrong?
Madam Chair, may I reply?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilwoman LaFortune. I see your point, but in reality, with everything that we had going on last year, with all the issues with COVID, and we didn't feel that there was a need to have a meeting on this committee. Even if we have a discussion in the resolution, most of the resolutions are in support to legislation that were introduced last year at the State House. I honestly, with everything else that we had going on, I didn't think this was a priority right now.
Thank you very much, Council President. Does that answer your question, Councilwoman LaFortune? Do you have any further questions?
I'm assuming I would get the same answer, but thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing no further business?
I do.
Councilwoman Anthony, you're waving.
I am so sorry. I think Minority Leader Harris had her hand up before I did. I'm so sorry.
Thank you so much,
Councilwoman Harris.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman Anthony. I just want to say, I get a little frustrated when not a lot of strategic thinking goes into a lot of stuff that we do. I want to say, Councilwoman Ryan, I think the way you started the meeting by saying that we're going to be working closely with our lobbyists is going to be more effective for us, more valuable for us to get our stuff, you know, and be able to work in line with the stuff that we really want to see. I never believed in just resolutions and just passing them just for the sake of, I believe in them really having an impact. So I think with us bringing, you know, we had this lobbyist for a very long time, and my frustration is, where is he with us? I mean, this is an opportunity for us to have him in our presence, and you know, some of the concerns that we have sometimes about whether that resolution is something that would be an impact or whatever, it doesn't match the state or whatever. So I want to say that let's just try to give this committee a chance, and let's try to get as much as we can this year out of all that we can get, because again, I do know that our lobbyists will meet a lot with Sean, but you know, it'll be great for him to come before us. And so for me, that means a lot. I don't want to go on and on, but I really want to get something done this year. I really, really do. I really do. My hands down.
Thank you, Deputy Majority Leader Harris. I appreciate your remarks. And as I said, we're going to invite Mr. Baptista to this meeting. We'll get to work closely with him. As everybody is well aware, it's quite hectic up on the Hill. A lot of changes going on. And there's a lot of needs in the city of Providence. And we have a Herculean job ahead of us to try to get as much assistance for the families that so desperately need it in our city. And I'm committed to working together with you folks to make sure that happens. So with that, if I could have
Councilwoman Anthony.
There's one.
Thank you so much. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I just wanted to follow up with on the Deputy Majority Leader's comments, which were perfect, because I too would love to be more engaged with our lobbyist, because it is frustrating. I feel that we haven't been able to accomplish a lot of what we'd like to do. But my other concern is I'm hoping that whatever we're lobbying for is something that is agreed to by the rest of the council. I know we're not going to come to a unanimous decision, but I feel it's very important to have more than just the committee figure out what that legislative agenda is. So I'm hoping there's going to be some sort of reporting mechanism back to the council so that we're all aware, those of us who are not on this committee, so we can all be aware of what our lobbying what we're doing up there.
Good
All
point.
right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Well taken.
Just a quick
Councilor Espino.
question, if I may. So, Councilwoman Ryan, just a structural, basically a composition question. So 7 members we have, or I thought the max was 5 per committee. I'm looking at the names, so now we have a 7-member committee?
We can have 5 or 7. Council President, would you like to clarify that?
Yes. So this is
Committees have different makeups, but go ahead, Council President.
Yeah, this is a special committee. So our committees for the rules, that our regular committees have 5. A special committee, we can have as many members as we decide to.
All right, thank you.
And the clerk is agreeing with me, Tina.
Thank you so much. I just want to clarify that.
Councilwoman Anthony, I think is waiting.
Councilwoman Anthony?
Oh, sorry, I know you have another meeting. I'm not sure Councilman Salvatore is on this committee. I think you called his name on the roll. I don't think he thinks he's on.
He is. He is. Clerk, can you clarify that? clarify that I did receive a call from him, and I have not spoken to him about it yet, but I did research that, and he was appointed in February of 2019,
Okay,
along with former Councilman Yurden, who is no longer on the committee and was replaced by, I believe, Councilman Gonzalez. So Councilman Salvatore is on this committee.
thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else? May I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to
Oh.
adjourn?
Second.
Motion made on seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. We're adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.
See you in a little bit.